Yay. So thank you so much. You are our youth. We have appreciate your opportunity to volunteer to the ZLA. It's like a fundraiser. I'll share a little bit about ZLA after we've done intros. But what I would like to just do is acknowledge each of you for your successes, for your accomplishment. I'm on this call, like I was just stating, it's just really a general, here is a opportunity for you all to meet each other. And what we're going to be sharing with you, there's a bigger group of older people, senior citizens, so to speak. And on that meeting, we were talking about we really want to inject the youth into not only the programming, but also get you all as leaders. We'll be serving behind you, but you're the leaders that are going to help us ensure that we have an amazing event that's scheduled for September. Because the two things we're doing is we're getting the diaspora engaged. If you notice, the more successful that Zambian diaspora become, the more disengaged they are from helping their country. And what we want to do is take and infuse more diaspora engaged in giving back to the youth in Zambia. So you're basically influencing and helping and supporting the youth that are in Zambia that don't have the opportunities that you have. And I believe you may have a little bit about that, but what I want to do on this call right now is really give you all a chance to meet each other, share with each other. Don't be the Zambian shy. Talk about everything that you've done. Show off, pretend you're dating somebody and you're telling them about how good you are. No, I'm serious. You should tell us. Let's not be that I'm shy. I'm dating. No, this is a call where we want you guys to say, "This is what I've done. These are my achievements," because we want to show you off. And if you do not know you, we are going to show you off. We are going to put you out there as the youth leaders for ZLA, and more importantly, is we want to touch with you. We want to get to your heart and mind around how you want to be involved in not only your current position. I don't think none of you have kids, none of you are married. So this is the opportunity for you to really start thinking about creating a legacy, which like for me, nobody ever talked to me about creating a legacy. So creating a legacy as you are at this age. So I'm going to stop. Who wants to go first? Just talk about, like I said, talk like you're dating somebody. Give each other like 5 minutes. Just talk about who you are, where you were born. I gather none of you were born in America. So all of you are born in Zambia, but you've had a lot of exposure here and are able to work well within both environments. So who wants to go first? And forgive me if I ask a few questions just to prep. I think I know most of you, but I don't know all of you the way that I'd like to. So who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first. Okay, hi, my name is Willa Musenda. I was born in Zambia and I came to America when I was about 5 years old. And I lived and grew up in Texas for most of my life. I went to undergrad at Texas A&M and I studied there public health and kind of sociology. I moved to Georgia about 3 years ago. I currently work with kids on the spectrum. I just recently finished my master's program in applied behavior analysis therapy, and currently I'm practicing as a BCBA or board certified behavior analysis. I aspire and plan to start trying to apply to medical school to be an ER physician and also like work along, kids on the spectrum and be an advocate for that. And I've been in Georgia for 3 years, and that is my story.
Thanks, Willa. And I met Willa because she was coming to Atlanta and her uncle, it was your uncle, right?
Yeah, it
Told
was
me
my
to
uncle.
look out after her. So I've known her like a week since she's been in Atlanta, and she's just amazing with her journey and navigating to go into medical school.
Yeah.
Who's next?
All right, I'll go next. Hi, everyone. My name is LaQuesa Morin. Feel free to call me Lou or Lulu, whichever floats your boat. So a bit about my background. I was born in Lomé, Togo, and then I moved to Georgia when I was 6. So I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, predominantly, then moved to Massachusetts, then moved to DC area. My mother was doing residency, so we just kind of went with her job. And my undergraduate I did was in environmental science. So I did part Gettysburg College in the States, and then I did an abroad program in London at Lancaster University. And so thereafter, I went on to work with the World Bank as an environmental consultant. And there I led an entire mission project related to disaster risk management in Lesotho. And this was in connection with United Nations World Food Program. So I've had a bit of international development work under my belt. Thereafter, I did my master's degree at Johns Hopkins University, where I got a dual master's in public policy as well as public administration. Thereafter, I won the Miss Africa 2019 pageant, which is being held by African Union, where I was a global goodwill ambassador, touring different countries. Basically promoting literacy was my platform, as well as alleviation of poverty. I'm also a global ambassador to the Literate Earth Project. And with that organization, we really seek to promote formal, traditional, as well as digital literal forms of literacy. For instance, like we have 18 libraries in Uganda, and we train teachers to teach children how to read and write. But we also have digital forms of literacy, such as donated Kindles or iPads, where children can access maybe 200 or 300 books on these iPads. And so when I was in Cameroon, that was my goal, to expand that into all of Africa, because that it's just so dear to my heart, because I feel that in order to affect change, especially in the youth population, it starts with awareness, and education is the foundation of that. So right now, after doing my master's, after doing the Miss African Union, which was 2019, kind of world tour, if you will, I started working for a defense health agency, so DoD. I then moved during COVID because everything became remote. So I moved to California from DC. I live in San Diego now. And I work as a senior project manager in the federal sphere, in the federal tenant. So I'm a federal employee for the US government. And we're primarily working on military health systems and policies that were mandated from the Obama era, that time period, where we're combining all the electronic health records for Army, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. I'm also a spiritual coach and Reiki master, so I'm working on starting up my own LLC called Spirit Ascension, and that's really why I'm here. It's more marketable on the West Coast, where they believe in energy and understand that there's more to life than just this physical 3D that we live in. So I'm a Reiki master and a Sui Reiki master as well. And I'm happy to take part in this new initiative.
Thank you. I guess we did the ladies first. So the gents.
Sure. I'll go ahead. I'm Josh. I was born in Northwestern Province, back home in Zambia. Then my family moved to the Copper Belt and we settled in Kitwe. I graduated from Mpelembe in 2017. Then I kind of took 2 years off school just to hang out with my parents. Then I moved to the US in 2020. I went to St. John's College in Santa Fe, New Mexico for 1.5 years. Then I decided to transfer and moved to DePaul University in Indiana. I majored in political science and minored in peace and conflict studies, communications, and international relations. So I graduated last spring in 2023 in May, then moved to DC for a job with a lobbying firm right after. I did that for 4 months. Then I kind of got tired of the lobbying world. Then I moved to a PR firm for a couple months. And then I was like, actually, wait, I actually like lobbying. So I moved back to a different lobbying firm. And I've been there ever since. I'm currently the political coordinator. So my roles shifted from policy work with energy and transportation, and now I'm doing more political fundraising work. So working with several congressional offices tomorrow is Super Tuesday if you're following that. And some of our clients, congressional offices are, they have tough races. So we're fingers crossed for tomorrow. It's going to be very stressful. But yeah, I'm in DC now. I guess I got connected to this program through Pamela Johnson, who I think Dr. Frida knows. I met her at the Zambians in the DMV Gala here in October with Ambassador Kanyama, and I was able to help set up that and help at the event. So got connected with her, and she reached out to me about a couple of weeks ago about this program, and I'm really just excited to meet you all. And seems like an inspiring group of people. So looking forward to seeing what comes out of this.
Am I the last one?
Yes.
Awesome. Everybody has some great introductions, so I don't know how I'm going to follow suit. But so my name is Emmanuel. Everybody calls me Manny. I currently live in New Milford, Connecticut. I am a graduate of the University of Connecticut, where I also studied political science. I initially studied political science and economics because I thought if you study money, you'll make a lot of money. But I did not enjoy the economic side of our study. So I ended up dropping that, but then I pursued a minor in real estate and business. And then I was also on the pre-law track, which is like my end goal by the time I hit 30. I wrote some things down, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to remember all these things. So after I left the University of Connecticut, I ended up so in my last year, I was an intern in the urban planning office within our state capital in Hartford. I enjoyed that. That was really my, I guess, intro into Connecticut politics and understanding kind of the local politics of things. After that, I left and I continued working in admissions for the University of Connecticut. So I was working in higher education and development, the marketing communications department, specifically working with first generation students. So I was born in Lubumbashi, Congo, and then I came to the US when I was 2 years old. My family's from the Congo and Zambia, respectively, so it's a dual blend household. And so that really shaped my political identity and also how I approached my access to education, being a first generation student, kind of also being a minority student, underrepresented within the higher education sphere that we were in, both for high school and for college. That kind of shaped my agenda and kind of where I focused things. So I focused on really helping prepare high school students for college, university, kind of answering other questions, and if not that, any alternative paths. So from that, I then, after leaving that office, I went over to become a teacher in New York City. So I was teaching in Manhattan, and I don't think I told you this, Dr. Frida. Yeah,
We
so
didn't
I
connect
had a
this part.
short. I'm not an education major. I was a substitute teacher. In between my acting stuff. So I was an interesting segue from Connecticut to New York. And so the focal point there really was that I had always enjoyed working with kids, both at the university and before that I had done research with child development, and then specifically with increasing literacy rates. We did one where we had an initiative where we're working with students of incarcerated individuals and helping them kind of increase their relationship with their parents and engagement inside and outside of school through reading, so things of that nature. So where was I going with that? So that leads me back to, yeah, so I was teaching in Brooklyn. I started off as just a substitute teacher, and then I ended up having my own classroom because the ladies that preceded me ended up leaving, unfortunately. Um, so that was brief, but it was a really good segue into just kind of understanding a little bit more about the American education system. So I taught in public schools, I taught in charter schools, I taught in private schools, and really kind of doing my own background research on kind of analyzing what makes an institution work, what doesn't make an institution work, what makes a student successful, things of that nature. And then that led me now to my current job, which is I'm an assistant director of admissions at a private boarding school in Connecticut. And so here I'm focusing on one, the entry level into our institution, but then also second is we have a very low rate of diversity in our school, specifically when it comes to Black and Brown students and Latino X. And so I'm working with our diversity and inclusion an equity and justice board to help with recruitment and retention of both those students and those faculty. So that's my day job. And then my more exciting stuff is that I'm an actor in training as well. So I'm in my, I would say my sophomore year, my sophomore season. I work specifically in TV, film, and then also commercial photography and commercial acting. So, really, I think the biggest example is like everybody sees the commercials that we see on TikTok and Instagram. So I work with different companies and agencies to help promote those products, do social media managing, and then also sometimes I get to be the face and read the scripts in front of it. So that's really where my passion is and what excites me. And the goal is one day maybe I'll get my own Oscar or Tony, but kind of being this political influencer where I'm using the entertainment platform to promote all these different educational initiatives. Yes.
Wow. I don't even know where to start, but Auntie Chanda, you have a hard many you have some big shoes to fill. You want to do an intro?
I don't know if I can show myself. I just came and I was doing some errands, but my goodness, I don't even know where to go because like
Yeah,
doctor
listen,
said,
even the
we are
screen doesn't
old
know where to
school.
go. We can't see you.
We are old school. I know I came in, I'm having issues. I'm trying to hopefully you all can at least see a vision. I look like a ghost, but maybe you can see me. But amazing, amazing. Like docs say we're madalas, we want you guys to come into ZLA and take over this organization because we can only go so far. My name is Chanda Mutale. I've been in the US since 95. Of course, everybody was born in Zambia. I moved here and I've been living all my life here, but what you guys have achieved and done, me, I went to old school back in Zambia. You get a certificate, you come to America, they can't accept it. And then I was like, what the hell? Do I need to do mathematics again? Yeah, but my major is public relations. And I was one of the founders of AZA when I moved here. We founded Zambians in Atlanta. We were just a group of us. And I mean, I don't even know where to start, but yeah, my major is public relations and very strong in customer service. And I've worked a lot of different, Charles. I know you guys are talking about these fancy positions and all that, but I've yeah. So, but anyways, I'm public relations, and I'm so happy that you guys can be on this call. Luquesa knows me. I'm meeting the three of you. I think I've met Emmanuel. Have you seen each other before? Have I seen you before?
Maybe I can't see from the screen right now. It's a
I
little
know, but who's your parents? Maybe let me start there.
My mom's Mulenga Chanka and my dad is Maurice Chinimba.
Yeah, I think I've seen. Remember when we came to the house with Uncle Anthony? Were you there with Auntie Maggie
In
that
DC?
day?
In Connecticut or DC?
No, in Atlanta.
Oh my God, yes.
When we were dancing like crazy.
I'm quiet. In the summertime, yes. That was I love
Yeah, I know. I know. I remember I met you there. It's crazy. And Joshua, I've heard so much about you. And Wheeler, I've heard so much about you from Doc. She told me about you. And Luquesa, there's no introduction. We go way back. And I'm just excited. I hope you guys will be open-minded with what we're trying to make you do as youth in the US and the project that we're working with the youth in Africa. So I'll let Doc introduce herself, but I'm just excited to be on this call. And you are the future for Zambia, America. And if you lead the path, we have other youth that are probably a little bit younger than you that will join the movement. But we want you guys to remember that no matter where you are, no matter how successful you are, we always remember where we're coming from. We never neglect our home, no matter what it is. You can be a millionaire, but if you never think about where you're coming from, then you lose yourself. So whatever you do, you're successful. Always remember that there's somebody, your ancestors, wherever your mom comes from, there's somebody out there that needs your help. So that's what we're here today.
Thank you, Auntie Chanda. And just clarification, I believe the common thread amongst y'all is actually, well, your mom's from Zimbabwe, right? I I believe the common thread amongst all of you is Zimzam. The common thread amongst all of you is one of your parents is Zambian. I take that back because Lukwesa was born in Lomé, Manny was born in Lubumbashi, Josh in Zambia. Willa, were you born in Zambia too?
Yeah, I was born in Zambia too.
So it's a mix, but the common thread amongst you is that one of your parents is Zambian. And for introduction, before I go into, I'm not going to introduce myself because I'm just this lady who thinks and wants the best for her country and wants the best for others around her. And that's where I put all my energies. Luquesa is my daughter. And we were in Santa Fe 2 weekends ago, right, Luquesa? We were actually in Santa Fe 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
She's my sister's daughter, but she's my goddaughter, so and niece, so she just becomes my child. But we were in Santa Fe 2 weekends ago. We went to Albuquerque, we went to Santa Fe, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Very, very nice time there. The one thing that is important for us is, you know, before I go into just sharing some background that you can go look at, any of you have questions for each other? Because you did your intros. I don't know if there's any one thing that you'd like to hear more from each other. I'm going to set up a group. I know you guys are texters because I put up WhatsApp. Nobody read it. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Y'all don't read, don't use WhatsApp. So we'll be texting and we'll go into Slack. But does any of you have any questions for each other based on what you heard so far? You are all amazing. And I'm just so proud that you all, like, again, God factor plays in everything that we do. Everything that we do, Chandra will tell you, comes out like tenfold. And when we ask ourselves, how did we get here? We know that it wasn't us. We know that it was God factor. We always do our part. We're big believers in excellence. There's nothing that we're going to put out there that is shoddy. So we always want the best and we want to showcase ourselves as the best, like the best. So any questions? Do you guys have any questions for each other?
I have a question for the group and then also for you, Auntie Frida. The question for the group is, has anybody ever felt imposter syndrome in any one of your positions, your spaces? And for those maybe that may be unfamiliar, it just kind of means that you look at what you've done, you look at where you are, and sometimes maybe you may feel, for lack of better terms, like you don't belong in that space, or you feel like, oh my God, like how did I get here? And it can be very overwhelming sometimes. And I think especially like when you are in this kind of, there's a lot of dual citizenship and dual identities that go along with that, having your foot in different places, being here in America, seeing your family back home, is also like, kind of seeing the disparities and the differences also too in the way that we live. Sometimes I also feel like survivor's guilt in a way, being here in America and having certain opportunities and privileges that my cousins may not have direct access to. And then really simple, Auntie Frida, my question is kind of what will our involvement look like going forward? What kind of our expectations and of the program or of us individually?
So who wants to go first with the imposter syndrome?
I'll go. I can kind of relate to that. I remember, well, when I was winning Miss African Union, 2019, that kind of felt very surreal. My Aunt Frida was there. So were a lot of other people that were supporting me, but just to have that it was the first ever that they had thought of, to put together where they could identify a youth leader that could go about, encouraging other youth participants to affect change by essentially using their voices and bridging that gap between like seniors in leadership and then youth that really wanted to participate but didn't have an avenue or voice to do so. I remember being in Cameroon and basically lobbying for access to education in areas like Douala, St. Frederick's College that was in Yaoundé, and just to have that be granted and for the children to know that that aspect of education was opening up to them, to me, that was extremely surreal. Because I went out to one of the colleges, St. Frederick's, and there were over 800 students that greeted me. It was just shouting. It was them coming at me like think of like a rock star that just finished performing and then he's getting onto the stage, or and there's just this bum rush of people. That's what I experienced. And in that moment I was like, why me? Why am I being chosen for this? It was surreal, but also very humbling at the same time. I think that's the only time I experienced that to that degree.
Anybody else want to add?
I think for me, my sense of purpose always outweighs my feeling of being an imposter wherever I go. I'm just thinking of like my career, like, being in DC, working in politics. There's many situations where, I'm at a happy hour and, there's like multiple congressmen and, you're around those people all the time. These people, make decisions that affect not only the US, but the world. And I'm there pretty much the only Zambian in any space, let alone the only Black person in any place. But I think, I've realized that that's sort of it's more empowering to me to realize that, I'm here for a reason, that I'm not meant to be here. So I was looking ahead on my calendar this week. There's a happy hour at like Congressman Molinar, and then on the following day there's like so many happy hours, and I'm getting this opportunity to meet so many people that are influential and create or like decide on the future of indirectly, our futures. So I see it more as an opportunity to, tap into these spaces where people like me aren't typically there, and use that, more for the advantage of, Zambia, sub-Saharan Africa, than to place myself in like this victimhood mindset that, oh, like, what about the others? I'm using this more as a platform to empower more people than, feel shame for it. So I think I'm more excited to be in places where I stand out than I am in places where I kind of, people won't notice my presence.
That's amazing confidence, Joshua. And I will say that it's wonderful that you recognize it. I always talk to Laquesa about it always starts with self, and
Mhm.
I have been through that imposter syndrome because early on in my career, and many times I've always been the only Black person. And I will admit my first job out of college was I did my CPA, I was an accountant, and I like fashion. I think everybody here has got that in common. Everybody likes fashion, but I couldn't go to, I did my CPA, I was an accountant at Coke, and I had to dummy down my whole appearance. I've always had to dummy down who I really am in my environments, because back then accountant couldn't be, you couldn't be fashionable, if that makes sense. So that's the whole aspect of it. It's not necessarily being unaware, but it's knowing that you had to put on a different mask versus who you really are as a person. And that was obviously, I'm old enough to be your mother, so I'm just saying that that's how it showed up for me. But let's do this. Any other questions? Oh, what's expected of you? Right now, today, I really wanted to do a general, let's just meet so that you can all hear from each other. Welcome back, Manny. Is it Manny or is it Chichi? Your mom calls you Chichi. So I'm confused. Manny or Chichi? We'll call you Manny.
Everybody, it doesn't matter. If you were in my direct family, they know me as Chichi, Chishimba, Chinyumba. But in like, I don't know, every day everyone calls me Manny, so it doesn't matter to me.
I'll call you Manny. But you asked about what's the expectation. Today, I really wanted you all to meet each other, to really have an appreciation of each other's excellence. Moving forward, the team meets on Tuesdays. We meet on Tuesdays between 8:30 and 9:30. We stick to the hour. Like I keep watching my clock because I don't want to go beyond the hour that I asked for your time, because I value the fact that you all have other lives. You have dates to make, you have cooking, you have movies, you have books to read and all that stuff. So we meet on Tuesdays. What we would like from you all as it relates to your role, initially, We want your insights to inform the program that we're going to have. We want you guys to keep the voice of the youth at the forefront of the decisions that we're making as we're looking at the program. And let me just share a few things. I'll share my screen and jump around. But initially, we're in sort of like, we're in planning stage right now. The theme of our event, have you guys had a chance to go to our, have any of you viewed our website? You can see my screen, right? I'm going to do a couple of things. We have a website. Have you guys seen this? And if you haven't, it's ZLA website. And it sort of like talks about, like I said, we involve diaspora. We want to tap into, we want to really have you at the forefront. You are our bosses. We're going to serve you in terms of informing it. And we want to be able to touch ZLA and the youth engagements, the youth that are in Zambia. We've been doing quite a bit of work around this. If you go to our blog section, you will see on our blog section, here's our mayor. This is a very, very short video. Have you guys seen our blog section yet? Okay, so if you haven't, you can go and check it out. This is our ambassador. Our ambassador was here in our September event, and this is some of the work that we do. So this is our work that we did in Mongu, and then you'll see other stuff that's all on our website. Another place that you can go and get more around the work that we do. You hear, this is Manny's uncle, but here you're going to see all the different, these are the different, what do you call this? These are the different, you'll see videos. These are the different videos that showcase what we do as an organization. And hold on a second, I'm sorry. I'm going to the playlists. So if you come to our playlist, you'll see this was our last event. Have you guys had a chance to see this? Have you seen it? No, yes?
I briefly looked at it once upon a time, but not recently.
So this was our video, and you'll see like there's a playlist of what's there, but this is just going to inform you of the work and the quality of what we do here. So these were all the sessions that we had in September. These are the topics that we covered. And the overarching big thing that I'll share with you is that we're big on capturing. And that's why, it will be good for Manny to give us insights on social media on how to play around that. So you can also start thinking about the skills and your interest in what you do and bring them over to us, because we're taking this on another level. ZLA is going to be 10 this year. So our 10th anniversary is called Shifting Mindsets. We recognize that at the end of the day, you'll see everything that we do is shifting mindset, because we believe that as leaders, there's one thing that, oh, you don't have the leaders, but the mindset that we speak about, the mindset is the most powerful thing that anybody can have. They say mind over matter, right? And those are the people that do amazing things because they have the right mindset. Once you are able to tap into yourself as an individual and come into mindset, you understand what that is. The theme that we're having is going to be September 6th and 7th, because we're working with Global Atlanta. September 7th, our event is Shifting Mindsets, the convergence of diaspora, youth engagement, and hold on, I don't want to mess up the title. I'll tell you what the title is. But while I'm getting the title, any questions? Let me just tell you exactly what the title is that we've come up with. But let me pause here to see if anybody has any questions so far. It's the convergence of diaspora, youth, and legacy. One thing, you remember how we're mentioning legacy? We don't always think about legacy, but that is what is going to be our theme, and we're going to push forward. So that's where we are right now. I wanted you all to meet each other. Tomorrow, if you're able to come to the meeting, that would be great. We're talking about pricing. What should the price of the ticket be? Last year, the price of the ticket was $250. It was all inclusive with open bar. This year, we're trying to think through a correct pricing that allows us to have plenary sessions. Like you see, all these are plenary sessions that happen during the day. And then in the evening was the gala. So we're separating the two things, and somebody can come to plenary sessions. That's where we would like your input and support on what type of topics should we cover. And the reason why it's so important is because we need to see things from your perspective. And I know that there's a big big gap there on how we see things. But this is our YouTube channel. You can go at this at your leisure and check it out. And then the other part that I just want to share, just for fun, this is Miss LaQuesa. She's gonna be, if you Google her, you see this is all her and how she shows up. This is when she won and the work that she was talking about. And I'm sure you all have just amazing, but we're gonna be looking at you to really help lead the charge and help us become successful in the event that we're putting together. So let me just stop here. I've got 15 minutes left. If you're able to come tomorrow, I understand. If not, that's fine, because we're really talking about pricing of the tickets. Should we do open bar? Should we not have open bar? When we do have open bar, the ticket prices typically go up by like $75. And people that don't drink feel like that's a lot, you know? So at the same time, you know, $75, I think LaQuesta has been to an event where it was $75 and she had a good time. Yeah,
And
every picture, listen, every single picture she had a different shape and a
oh
different
my God.
glass.
I think I had like a different drink for every picture. I don't know what we were just. It was just everyone was just so like celebratory, and I mean, I think we can all relate on this call. You know, when you guys are out with friends and people have drinks, like, and you don't have a drink, you're like, oh, let me get a drink, and it kind of just keeps going.
But anyway, those are the conversations we're having tomorrow. Is should we have an open bar, and if not, then what's the cost and stuff like that? That's what we're thinking about tomorrow.
And that, let me just chime in on that. To me, I believe the youth event focus is a little bit different from what we've been doing in the past. So my suggestion was to bring you guys in and you guys can tell us exactly what you feel will relate with the youth. Because you know what? No matter how much we adults plan, regardless of the conversation or what we're looking at, the youth thinks a little bit different. The youth thinks they're left out. There are some youth that I've spoken to, they feel like they're not included. So you can, like scout around, your peer youth. It doesn't have to be a Zambian youth. It can be a youth from Afghanistan, whatever it is, just to, the mindset of what you guys want. To me, that's the big focus of this event. If we're going to put the event, regarding the youth, you guys have to let us know. Say, you know what? It's the event, it's, shifting mindset, but as youth, can we go this direction? Because no matter how much we try to go on the other side, if a lot of youth are not resonating with what we're doing, we need to have a meeting point where we can say, well, yeah, it makes sense. They feel this way and that makes sense. So for me, as you come into this group, think outside the box, think what would the youth do? Of course, there are youth that are way above other youth, but just to make sure that we are getting the message to the youth. What do you think? Think about it, and that's why probably it would be nice for you guys to be available for the meeting and let us know, because the youth think differently. Because we can plan all we can, and then at the end of the day, we're gonna have 10 youth in the building versus the other. So you're gonna help us to get the message to the other youth, and so that they can understand why we're doing what we're doing in order for this project to work. So that's just my input in what we're trying to do. That's the reason why we have you involved. In Zambia, they say, I submit.
Um,
Thank you for that.
Create your invoices at skynova.com. Easy, but professional.
sorry, I was gonna share where the location is, but I think, questions.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I was just kind of curious, based on like the previous events attendance, I'm curious how many people you could like estimate were youth.
What?
Based on like the previous attendance at like the last ZLA meeting, how many people do you think were youth from the previous event?
Right, very well, let's say, there was one event where they're less than 10%. Less than 10%. And there was one event where when one of my daughters, her friends bought a whole table. So that helped with the numbers. In fact, I was gonna go and share the video now because I think I found it.
Yeah,
Just like,
and to answer your question, the feedback that I received from some of the youth was they are not included. And why I was asking, what do you mean by not included? It's like the decision that are made are not really, they don't resonate with the youth, but we still go ahead and do it. But we've never had an event where the focus is on the youth. So this is a little bit different. That's why we are approaching it the way we are.
I think that let me put it this way. We have never been deliberate in engaging the youth in the planning. We have put together the program and then said, hey, we're the youth, can you come? We're evolving to the point that Adishanda is bringing up, to ensuring that you're informed and you help us through the planning. Let me also say that there is a difference in the pricing, because during the day we have plenary sessions and our topics have been around food is agriculture. How do you shift your mindset to become into real estate? How do we as a diaspora become more involved in giving back to our country? It hasn't really allowed us to say, where are the youth in their current careers or in their current interests for moving forward? And what do we need to do to align and respond to that? We've never thought about the way we're thinking about it now. That's why we're bringing you here now in March for an event that's in September. And we haven't quite put the program together. And I just also want to ensure that there's a distinction between, during the day, we have like TED Talks, which would be like 6 TED Talks. So you have a panel discussion on education, for example, then everybody does 10-minute segments. And then we would, and I was just even looking at them, and then we would, hold on, let me just see if I can share what those segments, and then we would, let me put this here, and then we would, I was just messing around with what we have here, and then we would, in the evening, have a gala. So they're very separate. But I wanted to share this with you real quick because it's a short video, but this is the one that we had in the same exact location where we're having it this year, to give you an idea as to what it looks like. I think that's important because we do put a lot of effort into the planning. And so, hold on. And you're going to see Ms. Luquesin here. Can you see my screen?
This is how she started losing weight.
Yeah.
Can you see my
My
screen?
name is Debbie, and with
Yep.
you, I lost 130.
Okay, there it is.
Please,
Oh, there I am. There I am.
the Ambassador, Dr. Gosa Siambakota. Big round of applause for him, please. Thank you.
There's no audio on the video. I don't know if it's
What's that?
There's no audio playing from the video.
Oh, thank you for, hold on,
Under the ground in a mine and,
hold on. Thanks for telling me. I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me after the fact, but it's a short one. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm so sorry there was no audio. Let me be smarter around this.
Because I didn't know if you just wanted to show like a visual representation or not, but there's no audio on it.
Sorry, babes. Let me
No
get
worries.
that. Let me fix that. Because you have to do that. Okay, now you hear it. I sorry about that. Here we go. And I'll start it. You can see it now, right?
Yes.
All right, hold on a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome His Excellency, the Ambassador, Dr. Ngosa Siampakulkala. Big round of applause for him, please. Thank you.
I've been having my eye on Zambia a long time. I've visited throughout the country, the Copper Belt area, and spent actually a day under the ground in a mine, and it was quite an experience.
As the Attorney General of this state for some 13 years, I'm always excited about the opportunity of visiting with countries, foreign countries, and 55 years of independence in Zambia is something that I just could not miss.
This is a celebration and an uplifting and a reminder that we need to stay connected to the soil. We need to tap into the inner village that lives within us.
I want to thank the organizing committee for sharing this incredible event with the African Education Program. And I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, and in advance, thank you for supporting our life-changing work.
Helping each other. That's where we should go.
I'm here to just say congratulations to Freedom for organizing such an amazing event. And we can see 55 years of freedom and peace in Zambia.
For the ZLA 55th anniversary of Zambia's independence. It's been a great evening. Awesome, well organized. We had a great time.
It's been 55 years, and we hope for 55 more wonderful years of freedom, peace, and prosperity in Zambia.
All right, that's the space that we had it in, and I have 2 minutes left. Questions, thoughts, next steps. I can include you into our conversation for tomorrow, which is really around pricing for the event. We got the theme, which is the convergence of shifting mindsets, the convergence of diaspora, youth, and legacy, because we all want to create legacy. And then we are going to be really talking about pricing for the plenary sessions, which is the day event, and then for the evening. So we have a Slack that has given us the buffet price and stuff like that, a little bit more tactical. But what we really want, as we mentioned, is when we start looking at the program, what should the 6 TEDx talks look like? What panel conversations should we have that are appealing to the youth that want to progress and do a whole lot more? And then also, what roles do you want to play in the actual program? Like for me, it would be nice if you are all the MCs and the moderators, as well as sitting on panels and bring in other people to really touch on areas and thoughts that are critical for our youth, not only here, but also in Zambia. So questions, thoughts, can I plug you all into the session, or have any of you changed your mind on what you're buying into after you've seen this conversation and had an opportunity to meet the fellow youth? And if you ask me who the other group are, I think it's about 7 other people from Washington, D.C., we're Zambian professionals that are sprinkled all over the United States. So it's not just Atlanta. And like Miss Pamela Johnson, she's from DC. We have Anthony Shankar of DC, Mulenga Shankar, she's here. Chanda Lupunga, Philip, she's a VP out of DC. We have aeronautical, he's an aerospace engineer, but he's also a writer. You should read his books, Chipampa. What's his name again? Wait, it'd be so oh my God, Mukuka Chipanta.
Chipanta.
He is amazing. You should read his books. But he's an aerospace engineer, but he's also a writer. And then we have Savia. He works for the Open Society Foundation out of New York City. So we're all sprinkled, and it's just really bringing in. And then Soneka Kamuhuza is out of Maryland. I think you may have met him, Josh. You met Soneka, right, Samakai? Yeah, so it's a sprinkling of Zambians and people love Zambia that are just coming together saying, let's showcase our excellence. Let's showcase that we have a whole lot to offer and get others involved. So what questions do y'all have? Or you want to think about it a little bit more?
To clarify, the event is in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool, awesome.
And the venue is that venue that I just shared with you on the video. It's the Marriott Perimeter, which is right by the mall. It's a tall Marriott. It's really nice, a nice space.
Okay.
Any questions, thoughts you guys want to process? Auntie Chanda and I working, ZLA, we got a grant from the US Embassy in Zambia. It's a small grant. It's focused in Mongo. And whenever we're working with our Zambian team, it's like we'll speak, we've all become so accustomed to processing information and responding. But a lot of times when we're working with our team in Zambia, you will say something and then it's like crickets. And then we're like, and then they're like, oh, we're processing the information. So it's just, that's been my experience. I don't know, Chanda. I'm serious. You'll finish speaking and then 3 minutes later, it's crickets. And I'm like, are you guys there? Like, yeah, we're processing information. Whereas here in America, there's no time for processing, right? Everybody's always in constant engagement on calls, right? Am I kidding? It's been very enlightening working with the teams in Zambia. And these are all youth. When we have a time,
yeah, like Doc is saying, the one thing that I would like for you guys to take away from this is this is a youth event, so to say. The whole theme is engaging the youth. So we want to leave that platform for you guys to say, you know what, if I get involved and I tell my friend that this is what I'm doing, is my friend gonna buy it? They don't have to buy it, but at the end of the day, if the youth are not buying what we're trying to do or portray, then it doesn't make no sense. The other event that we had that you saw, we had students that are sponsored from Zambia by Ray. They came to the event and they volunteered, they did everything. Yeah, but what I want you guys to think about is no pressure. You have to think about, this is a youth event, and you've heard what it's all about. We're gonna have sessions, we're gonna have discussions, and then of course forget about the black tie. The black tie is there, is for people that want to come at night. But if it's gonna involve the youth, if you're gonna be there in the day, bring your suggestions. What is it gonna take for us to have this success? For me, this the event is about the youth. So your input and your suggestions is really going to help us to drive how we drive this event. Because we can drive it as our own adult event, or we can drive it as a youth-related event. I know how to do it. That's just my input as we get off the phone today.
Alrighty. So like I said, I like to stay true to time. I know we started a little bit late at 8:37. It's 8:34. Thoughts, suggestions, and if you have thoughts after, please just hit us on text. Otherwise, I'll wait until like tomorrow afternoon, and then I'll send you guys the invitation that we do for Tuesday's meeting. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
That sounds good.
I'm excited to get to work, Auntie. I just remembered I might have a board meeting for another organization that I serve on. So it's possible I might either be late to that meeting or missing it.
Okay. No, thanks for letting me know. By the way, did you tell
Yes.
everybody you model as well? You're an actor, but you're also a model.
Yes.
Yeah, I told you.
Yes.
Act like you're dating, guys. You're like, this is some secrets. You love some of my secrets.
No, but I'm
No, I was just making fun. I said first date or second.
No, yeah, I'm excited. I think I have a lot of in the processing. I'm also like in ideation mode. There's definitely different ways I think that we can all get involved. I'm a connector, so I like to connect and expressing this. So if there's anything that comes up, I will send it your way. And then to the group as well. I'll keep things in communication.
That's wonderful.
And I'll keep my eye on you, Emmanuel, because your mom talked about you highly, so I'll keep tracks.
I'm excited for what I can provide, yes. But I'm also excited to see where everything, I think someone else said the similar sentiment of just excited where this initiative goes. I think we're at a cross, of so many different intersections here, and I think that's where when there's true diversity, there's also a lot of like great activity that comes from it. I think just with all the ideas and things that I've heard thus far, there's no words to put together what can be made and processed here.
Yeah, and I also just want to add one other thing. When I mentioned Global Atlanta, just know that they appreciate the path that we've taken, but the conversations with them are not Zambia. The conversation with them are African youth in Atlanta tapping into that space as well. So I just wanted you to know that the event just doesn't cater to Zambian youth. It's really, at the end of the day, most youth are from diverse backgrounds. One parent is something and the other parent is something else, and they're born, what did it go call them? You call them is it triculture? What's it called again? Culture kids, right? Did I get that right? Third culture. Third culture kids. You haven't heard of that terminology?
No.
No.
Yeah, they're called.
I thought you were gonna say like baby. I don't even know.
No, it's culture kids. I think it's third culture kids or something like that, where wait, I'll tell you. Learn terminology. We're learning new terminology. Yeah, it's third culture kids. You've never heard of that?
No, but I'll look into it.
Okay, third culture kids are people who were raised in a culture other than their parents or the culture of that's what you guys are. You didn't know that? Oh, you didn't know that?
It makes sense. It makes sense.
They live in a different environment during significant part of their childhood development. You guys are third culture kids and you didn't know that?
It makes sense. It's probably a Generation X terminology more than millennials and Gen Z.
You see, Chanda, you see they've squashed me like, that's your old people talk.
wait, no. That's it. I'm just making a joke. There's like up here.
Yeah, definitely a new term for me.
Really? But you look at
Wikipedia.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
looked up on Wikipedia?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm making up stuff, right? Alhamdulillah. Twaisha kwa chisungu. All right,
Oh my
everybody.
goodness.
Do you have any other questions or you want to know each other a little bit more? But again, I just wanted you guys to see, I mean, this is so dynamic. It's very encouraging. Y'all, don't be saying that Auntie Frida kept us on the phone for long. So I'm going to give you guys time back. Joshua, you modeled too, right? I can tell he's all dressed up with the lobbyists. Are you red or blue?
Well, I'm not American. So
That's what I said. I said, are you red or blue?
I'm neither. I'm none of the
You're
above.
independent? Smart, smart, smart.
Yeah, but I do not model. So
Would you like to be a politician in Zambia?
I've thought about it. That's like a long-term career plan. Once I guess get more experience here, I see myself going back and holding some form of government office.
By the way, we're apolitical, just for the record. We're apolitical. We are in bed with the government of the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
You too. Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Nice
Thank
meeting
you
you,
for taking your
everybody.
time.
Good night. Thank you. Cheers, Kamal.
Bye.
Okay,
Tschüss,
bye-bye.
Simon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.